Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Beatrice if you don't know already, and if you do, hey. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you can down there in the subscribe button. And you can follow my social media if you want. It will be in the description box and right here somewhere. So today I'm going to be telling you guys some things that you can avoid, especially on your freshman year, because that's one of the worst years in college, because you're just getting used to it and you just left home and you have to get used to everything new. So it's a really big process, and yeah. So one of the biggest things is about money. This is one of the biggest topics out of my whole list because it's hard. It's really easy to spend money and to like get things, and yeah, you want to get those clothes, you want to get that food, and yeah, it's really easy to spend money. But the problem is to actually gain money, to actually have it coming into your account. So you have to be really careful when you're dealing with money. So this was actually one of my biggest issues when I got to college. It was really hard for me because before I started college I used to be really cautious about money, and I really didn't spend a lot of money. I used to like have my money separated, and I would only spend it like on special occasions, or I wouldn't spend it a lot on myself. So when I got there, I started to see that you have to spend a lot of money, like buying things for your room, buying things for the kitchen, like pots, pans, plates, everything for the kitchen, because you're not living at home now, you're living by yourself. You're only starting your life living by yourself now. Basically you don't have a lot of things, so it's really hard, and that's one of the biggest things, is that you have to buy all of those things, and then you have to pay rent, and then you have to have money saved up for any emergencies, and then you want to go to parties, and then you have to go home and pay for your transportation, and yeah, it's a lot of money. So what I can tell you guys, and what I've been doing throughout the years, is separate like each thing that you do and things that you spend money into different categories. So imagine, separate a category for food, for school supplies, for going out, for dinners, and etc. If you want to buy clothes, get a category for that. So each month set a goal for how much money you want to spend on each category. So for example, you only want to spend 20 euros per week on food. So what I've been doing is every time that I go to a supermarket, I always make a list before I go, so I don't have to buy useless things that won't seem useless at the time, but then when I get home I regret getting those things. So yeah, what I personally do is, imagine I want to spend 20 euros, so I make my list come up to like 15 euros. And then when I get to the supermarket, I know that I'm going to want to buy something at the supermarket that wasn't on my list. So I give myself a margin of how much I can spend in like things that I want from the supermarket. So that way I don't spend more than 20 euros on all of my things. Another tip about going to the supermarket is try and only go once a week, and you're going to see that it's going to make a lot of difference at the end of the month, because you're not gonna be spending money all the time and losing control of it. So try and only go once a week. That's one of the biggest tips. And finally, if you only want to spend an amount of money, try and think to yourself that your credit card or your debit card doesn't have more than that amount of money. So if you only want to spend 20 euros, think to yourself that you don't have more than 20 euros in your card, so then you can't spend more than 20 euros. So yeah, that's one of the biggest tips, and that's what I tend to do and tend to think when I go to the supermarket. Trust me, you won't regret it at the end of the month and at the end of the semester, because one of my biggest mistakes in my freshman year was that I actually spent a lot of money on my first semester. Like everything that I had saved up, I spent it on my first semester. So yeah, be really careful about money. The second thing is about parties. So I know you guys want to have fun and you want to enjoy being away from your parents and having freedom. So yeah, I was there, I was in your place, I wanted to do that. I actually did that on my first semester, on my freshman year. Yeah, it was a crazy semester. I actually went out every single day, or practically every single day. Yeah, it wasn't good. You have to be really careful. You can still have fun, but try and not go out a lot of times, because you have to remember you actually are in school, you're in college, you have to study and you have to pass all of your classes. So yeah, be careful. And one of my tips is to not actually fail any classes, or try not to fail any classes, is try to study before going out, so then you don't feel like you haven't done anything productive that day. So try and study an amount of things before going out, and then it won't be that bad if you go out like every single day. So try and study like an hour a day before going out, so you won't feel that ashamed that you didn't study anything. But still have fun. Try to make friends, try to go out. So enjoy your youth. This is like the years that you can go out and actually go to parties and have a lot of fun, and you don't have a lot of problems in your head, and yeah, try to enjoy it. But remember to study. So going along with studying, the next topic is studying. So this one, it gets really boring after a while, and if you don't like the class that you're taking, it gets even worse. But the first thing that I can actually say about studying is that college isn't like school. I think this applies in every single country. School isn't easy, but it isn't hard. Like, comparing it to college, it isn't as hard as when you get to college, because even if your major isn't the most difficult one of the whole world, or it doesn't have the most hours or something like that, you still have to study. You still have tests, you still have midterms, you still have exams, final exams, you still have essays, papers to turn in. It's a lot of things. So even if it isn't that difficult, you still have to do a lot of things. So my tip is to always try and separate a time throughout the week or throughout the day to study. So for example, I have a really big test next week, and I need to study all throughout the week, but I still want to have fun, I still want to go out, I still want to do all of my things, etc. So what do? Instead of studying like the day before, it doesn't work in most majors, especially when you want to have really good grades. Don't do that. I know sometimes we have to study like the day before, but try and give yourself like throughout the week an hour or two to study every single day about that subject. So what I do is I have to read like 10 chapters of a book, and what I do is, like, today wasn't really productive, so I really have to study, and it's about 2 hours before dinner time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read at least 2 or 3 chapters, and then I can have my dinner. So I try to read all of those 2 or 3 chapters before dinner time, and if I can't and it got to my dinner time, I'll keep reading, and when I finish, then I can eat. So what motivates me is that at the end I know that I can go and eat. So it gives me inspiration to read all of those chapters. So try and give rewards to yourself. Like at the end of the chapter, you can have a chocolate bar, or you can go out. So it will actually inspire you a lot more, and that's what I do most of the times, because this actually inspires me a lot and gets me to do everything I need to do when I need to do it. So the next thing is about living alone. So I've already talked about this in the money section, but this is one of the worst things about moving to college, is living alone. Like for most of us, it's the first time that we're actually living alone without our parents, and it's weird. I have to be really honest with you guys. It's really weird at the beginning. You're living by yourself. There's no one taking care of you. You have to wash all of your dishes. You can't just leave it there. They're not going to get washed. You have to make all of your food. You have to wash your clothes. You have to do a lot of things that you don't even see that you're not doing when you're home. So this is one of the hardest things to get used to when you go to college, is to actually have to deal with all of those things. And with being far away from your family, especially when you're really close to your family, it's really difficult. So my friends, they're like on the same year as I am, and they still suffer a lot from this. They still go home every single weekend, or like every 2 weeks they always go home, and it's really hard for some people. But the problem is that most of us, or some of us, like for my example, it gets really expensive to go home every single weekend, and especially when you live further away, it's really time consuming going every single weekend and spending like a whole day traveling. And yeah, it's really bad, and especially when you're trying to live under a budget. Don't do it. Don't go every single weekend home. I know that you're going to probably miss your family, but don't do it. Don't go every single weekend home. It's not worth it, and you're just going to be spending a lot of money. And yeah. So what I recommend is try to talk to your family every single day. I know it might be hard sometimes, but try to talk to them every single day, and try to be busy all the time, especially when you're missing your family. Try to always be busy. Try to always be doing something, and like going shopping or going to the park or something like that. Try to not be thinking about being far away all of the time. So what I did in my freshman year was that I was always busy. I always kept doing something that always kept myself busy, so I wouldn't remember that I was far away from like all of my family. So that was one of the things that actually kept me sane and kept me from being sad. But there was always those moments that I was like alone, and I started to feel sad for being far away. So when you actually start feeling that way, call them. Like, we're in the 21st century. We have phones, we have computers, so call them, turn on the webcam and talk to your family. You'll get a lot better. And if you think about it, we're all going to move out of our parents' house, so it's better to do it now, that we don't have a lot of things to worry about, like jobs or having like a career or kids or something like that. Try to make the best out of this situation. It's gonna happen one day or the other, so it's better to happen now than later on in your life. So the last thing is about friends. The biggest thing is that friends are really hard to find, especially real friends. It's really hard to find them and to actually keep them as your friends for like a really long time. So most people tell you that when you get to college you're gonna find your friends that you're gonna have like for the rest of your life, and it isn't all true. It takes a while to actually find those friends, and don't be expecting to find them like on your first week of college. It most probably won't happen for you to find them at the beginning. What I can tell you is that at the beginning of the semester, like especially in the first 2 or 3 weeks, most probably they're gonna be completely different people that they actually are. It's sad, but it's true, because people at the beginning, they're going to try and show the best part of themselves so they can find friends. It's what everyone does. It's not intentional, but everyone does that. Everyone wants to get along. Like, you're all in the same boat. You're all trying to find friends, and you might find friends like at the beginning of that year, but most of them, or some of them, will turn out to be completely different people. It's really sad, but it's true. Most of them won't be the same people that you met at the beginning of the year, and some of them will turn their backs at you, or will stab you in the back, or will just ignore you, or something like that. So my biggest tip about this is be careful what you tell other people. Don't trust everyone that you see, especially in the beginning of the year. And yeah, that's my biggest mistakes that I made in my freshman year, and my advice is I can give you guys so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. But have fun. You're going to college, you're going to start off, you're going to make your own memories, you're going to make your own mistakes. And if you guys have been on your freshman year and one or all of these things have happened to you, comment down below. I want to know if I wasn't the only person that made all of these mistakes. So if you have comment down below. I want to get to know you guys, and yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and you can follow all my social media. And if you did like it, you can watch my last video, and it will be linked down below. And I hope you guys have a great week, and thank you for watching. Bye.